The Lakers back in action tonight against the Washington Wizards. Tip-off tonight is at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. I'm Sean Davis. Make sure you subscribe here to the channel. Turn on post notification bells as well so you never miss a video, especially as we ramp up here towards the February 6th trade deadline. Just a couple weeks away, folks. We have a lot of content here on the channel. Film breakdowns of any players that the Lakers trade for, etc. So perfect time to subscribe here to the channel. The Lakers currently sit as the 6th seed in the Western Conference, 22-18. Like I said, they host the Washington Wizards tonight, who are on a 10-game losing streak. 10-game losing streak, the Washington Wizards, the worst team in the NBA by a comfortable 4 games. The Wizards 6-35. This is a must-win game. A must-win game for the Lakers. We're going to talk about that game in just a second. I do want to touch on really quickly a bit of a rumor. This is from Jake Fisher. The Toronto Raptors are highly motivated to trade Bruce Brown, and he could be a potential buyout candidate if no trade materializes. The Raptors are very motivated to move Bruce Brown and his $23 million salary, sources said, in hopes of growing the return from trading Pascal Siakam to Indiana last season. If no trade materializes involving Brown, he would surely be in great demand as a buyout candidate. Now, if you are the Lakers and you are very interested in Bruce Brown, it would have to be via a trade. And the Lakers have been very, very interested in Bruce Brown dating back at least a year plus now. If you recall, back in the 2023 offseason, the Lakers seemingly had a deal done with Bruce Brown until the Indiana Pacers swooped in and gave Bruce Brown the absurd contract that they gave him, which is roughly around $23 million. I think it was a 2-year, $45-ish million deal for Bruce Brown, where if the Pacers don't offer in that absurd amount of money, Bruce Brown would have likely been a Laker for a comparable salary to what, Gabe Vincent's currently making. Lakers had to pivot. They go get Gabe Vincent. The rest is history. But if they aren't able, they're unable to pull off a trade for Bruce Brown, you can kiss your hopes of Bruce Brown goodbye, because Bruce Brown, if he does become a buyout candidate, the Lakers will be able to get him because the Lakers are over that first tier apron. And due to the CBA rules, that's just how that works. It would not be able to be the Lakers would not be able to buy out Bruce Brown because Bruce Brown's contract is larger than a tax payment level. And maybe it's not taxpayer MLE. That's where my knowledge of the CBA gets a little bit finicky. But to my understanding, if I did get anything wrong about that, I apologize. But that's to my understanding of the CBA. It's because he's making more than tax payment level exception, and the Lakers are over the first tier, but they would not be able to buy out Bruce Brown. So should they trade Bruce Brown? And what would it take to trade for Bruce Brown? Well, essentially, to get the contracts to work, you would need. I'm going to really quickly. I should have, I guess, already had to pull it up. You are going to have to trade Gabe Vincent, Bando, and it might even be an additional salary if you do not want to trade Rui Hachimura, because, as I said, so Bruce Brown, $23 million expiring contract, and let's say you throw in Gabe Vincent, let's say you throw in Jared Vanderbilt, that won't even work because you're taking back more salary. So if I were to really, really quickly share my screen, this is the take to trade for Bruce Brown. It would need to be Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and let's say Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? That is a deal that works. You save a little bit of salary. The Lakers shed about $2.6 million to give a little bit more a little more tax room, be even more in a comfortable spot here. Now, the problem is Gabe Vincent has very little value. Jared Vanderbilt also has very little value, especially for a team like the Raptors, who I would imagine don't want to take on long-term salary at the moment, especially something like Vando. So if you did, you would likely, the most likely outcome is it's Rui Hachimura's salary. You use Rui Hachimura, you use like Jalen Hood-Schifino, and then you like throw in one of the mid-level, one of the expiring contracts. Let's just say it's Jackson Hayes, right? I think that is more likely in a deal to get Bruce Brown. The problem is, to my understanding, and I've talked about this a ton on the channel so far, my understanding is that the Lakers are not trading Rui Hachimura unless it's for somebody that they view as, for sure, a comparable player to Rui Hachimura, but I would go as far as to say damn near an upgrade over Rui Hachimura. And in 2025, I do not think Bruce Brown is comparable to Rui Hachimura. I think actually you are getting the lesser player in the deal. And this isn't even a Dorian Finney-Smith D'Lo situation where Dorian Finney-Smith is going to come in, and you could argue D'Lo's better. You could argue that, but DFS is the desperate need. You needed some wing defense that can also shoot the ball, and Austin is Austin's capable, I think, offensively to run the point guard spot. No, Bruce Brown, I think, is I don't want to get disrespectful, but I just really do not think Bruce Brown is the level of player that he was for that 16-game title run. That was his best regular season too, and even then, he was a perfectly fine regular season player that just so happened to have a spectacular is an understatement. He had a phenomenal 16-game stretch in the playoffs that he is currently living off of right now. And good for him. Glad he got his bag. But I would be, for one, very, very surprised if the Lakers pulled the trigger to get Bruce Brown. I just don't see it. I don't see them getting Bruce Brown. I think the idea of Bruce Brown makes so much more sense in 2025 than the actual player Bruce Brown is. And maybe they pull the trigger and Bruce Brown turns out to be fantastic. But the data doesn't match up well with them, especially in 2025. And a lot of his offensive value is attached to, like, can he hit shots? And he did in that title run. So we shall see. Like I said, the Lakers are in action tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 Pacific against the Washington Wizards. If they lose this game against the Wizards, all hell breaks loose amongst the fan base. I would hope internally you cannot lose this game. Under no circumstance can the Los Angeles Lakers lose tonight to the Washington Wizards and be considered a serious team. Under no circumstances. I don't even know what to say. We're still waiting the return of Jared Vanderbilt. LeBron and Anthony Davis. I'm sorry, LeBron right now is listed as probable, left foot injury management. LeBron's expected to play. Anthony Davis is listed as questionable for tonight's game due to right calf soreness. So something to keep an eye on there. But even with that being the case, man, they still have to win this game. With or without Anthony Davis, you have to win this game. These are the games that come back to bite you in March, in April, where you got to try to stack up wins for, you're battling for seeding in a loaded Western Conference. You don't want to look back and be like, damn, we should have beat the Washington Wizards on January 21st. No, you have to get this win, especially when you got the Goons and Green coming to town on Thursday. Like, the last thing you want to happen is you lose tonight and it starts to become like a downward spiral because it's Boston Thursday, then it's Golden State Saturday. Then you start you start a East Coast road trip where you are going to play 3 times in 4 nights. You play next Monday, next Tuesday, next Thursday. So you have a back-to-back, and you only get 1 day off in between playing again. And then you play the next Saturday. So you do not want this to become the start of like a downward spiral for this Lakers squad. You absolutely must take care of business tonight against the Washington Wizards. Or honestly, like, pack your bags. I'm so serious. Have to win this game tonight. Jordan Poole, I'm curious, actually, and I dare I say somewhat optimistic at how Max handles the Jordan Poole matchup. I think Jordan Poole's going to have a good game still. But I think Jordan Poole is the ideal guard for Max Christie. Going to use a lot of ball screens, going to run off of some pin downs and some off-ball action. But in terms of archetype of, like, in the build, I feel decently confident in Max Christie's ability in that matchup tonight. So, Lakers, Wizards, 10:30. We should not be stressing about Lakers, Wizards, guys. We shouldn't. I absolutely have to go get this one because, like I said, you play Boston on Thursday. And, yeah, we're ramping up the content here, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Los Angeles Lakers Network podcast here on the channel. Go check that out right up here or whatever. We'll be having that once a week for the time being. And then, around the deadline and the playoffs, we will ramp it up a little bit more than that. But that's going to do it for us today. Lakers, Wizards. Do not stress us out, Lakers. Knowing the Lakers, they probably will. I'm Sean Davis. Follow me on X/Twitter at Sean_DAVI. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, go Lake Show. Peace out.